People often mistake chaos for connection. They meet someone and suddenly their emotions are in turmoil, anxiety, uncertainty, constant questioning, and they tell themselves, this must be what love feels like. But that's not love. That's confusion masquerading as connection. Real connection doesn't leave you anxious. It stabilizes you. It doesn't make you smaller. It helps you grow into someone stronger, more truthful, more present. When you find yourself constantly analyzing every word, every silence, every text, you're not in a relationship with a person. You're in a relationship with your own uncertainty. So if it confuses you, it's not connection, because the truth, the real transformative truth, brings clarity, and clarity feels like peace. We often confuse intensity with connection. That rush, that spark, that emotional chaos, it feels powerful, intoxicating even. You meet someone and suddenly everything feels heightened. Your heart races, your mind spins, and every small gesture feels like it carries enormous meaning. It's exciting, right? But that excitement can also be incredibly deceptive, because what feels like connection sometimes is just confusion wearing a very convincing disguise. See, connection doesn't live in confusion. It's not built in chaos. It doesn't make you question your worth or your place in someone's life. When something feels real, it grounds you. It makes you feel calm, certain, and seen. Confusion, on the other hand, pulls you out of yourself. It makes you second guess every word, every look, every silence. You start to interpret mixed signals like they're hidden messages, as if there's some secret code you need to crack to earn love. That's not connection. That's emotional survival mode. When someone truly connects with you, there's no guessing game. You don't need to wonder if you're too much or not enough. You don't need to chase clarity, because clarity is already there. The right kind of bond doesn't make you doubt where you stand. It helps you stand stronger. Real connection doesn't drain your energy, it adds to it. It doesn't make you perform for affection, it lets you rest in acceptance. The truth is, confusion feels thrilling because it mimics emotional depth. The highs and lows, the push and pull, they create a sense of intensity that tricks your brain into thinking something profound is happening. But that kind of intensity isn't intimacy, it's instability. And the danger is, when you get used to confusion, you start believing that's what love is supposed to feel like. You start to equate emotional chaos with passion. You think the one who makes your heart race is the one who's meant for you, when in reality, the one who brings you peace is the one who truly connects with you. You deserve a connection that feels safe enough for you to be honest. One where your emotions don't need to be decoded. One where communication isn't a battlefield, but a bridge. If you constantly have to interpret someone's behavior just to feel secure, that's not love. That's emotional confusion. Connection shouldn't make you lose your balance. It should help you find it. So the next time you feel pulled into something that leaves you questioning yourself more than you feel seen, pause. Ask yourself, is this clarity or confusion? Am I growing in this, or am I just trying to survive it? Because real connection doesn't leave you wondering. It leaves you certain. If it confuses you, it's not connection. Real connection brings peace, not anxiety. And that's something so many people misunderstand when they step into relationships. They think that love should feel like constant butterflies, that nervous, uncertain energy where you're always wondering what's going to happen next. But that's not peace. That's anxiety dressed up as excitement. It's the difference between something that feels alive and something that keeps you on edge. You see, peace doesn't mean boring. It doesn't mean there's no spark or that things others are dull. Peace means safety. It means you can breathe around someone. It means you don't feel like you're walking on emotional eggshells, waiting for the next mood swing, the next silent treatment, or the next moment where you start doubting if you're good enough. Real connection has rhythm, not chaos. It moves with flow, not friction. When someone truly values you, you feel it in the quiet moments, not just the grand gestures. You don't need to chase reassurance because their consistency is reassurance. You don't lie awake replaying conversations, analyzing every word they said, trying to figure out if they've lost interest or if you did something wrong. That's what anxiety does. It keeps you mentally running marathons over situations that shouldn't require that much energy. But peace allows you to rest. So many people mistake anxiety for attraction. They think that the person who keeps them guessing must be the one who has them hooked, that the emotional roller coaster is what makes it real. But real love doesn't need drama to prove it's alive. You don't have to be in a state of constant uncertainty to know something matters. You just feel safe, understood, and grounded. And when you're with someone who truly connects with you, your nervous system starts to relax. You don't feel the need to prove your worth or earn their affection because their presence tells you that you already have it. It's easy to underestimate peace when you're used to chaos. When calm shows up, you might even mistake it for disinterest. You might think, why does this feel too easy? But that's because your heart has been conditioned to equate intensity with importance. What if instead you started to see peace as the truest form of passion, because it takes real courage to stay in something calm, to build something steady, and to love without fear of loss controlling every moment? When peace is present, love deepens. Communication becomes easier. Trust grows without effort. You no longer feel like you're trying to hold someone's attention. You're just sharing space with someone who chooses you every day without confusion or fear. So if being with someone fills you with constant uncertainty, that's not connection, that's anxiety. And if being with them brings you calm, clarity, and peace, that's where real connection begins. This real connection brings peace, not anxiety. Clarity is the hallmark of truth. When something is right for you, it doesn't hide in mixed signals or half-truths. It doesn't make you guess where you stand or leave you feeling uncertain about what's real. Clarity feels like a deep breath. It's that moment when your heart and your mind finally agree on what they already knew. When you're connected to someone in a genuine way, things make sense. You understand where you are, who they are, and what you're building together. There's honesty in it. There's openness. There's no need to decode words or behaviors because the truth speaks for itself. So many people settle for confusion because they're afraid of what clarity might reveal. They avoid asking the hard questions, not because they don't want answers, but because deep down, they already know them. They sense that the truth might end something they're not ready to lose. But the truth, even when it's painful, is the thing that sets you free. It allows you to stop pretending, stop overanalyzing, stop trying to make something work that's not aligned with you. Confusion keeps you stuck, but clarity moves you forward. When you're connected to someone in a meaningful way, clarity isn't forced, it's natural. You know where you stand without having to constantly ask. You feel secure because their actions and words match. You don't feel like you're always waiting for the next shift, the next emotional withdrawal, or the next wave of uncertainty. Real connection doesn't live in doubt. It lives in understanding. And that understanding is born from truth. The beauty of clarity is that it doesn't always give you the answer you want, but it gives you the answer you need. It gives you peace even when it hurts. It's saying, I finally see this for what it is, and choosing to honor that awareness instead of fighting it. Because when you cling to confusion, you're really clinging to illusion. You're hoping that uncertainty will one day turn into certainty, when in reality, the absence of clarity is clarity in itself. If someone truly cares for you, they'll give you truth. They won't keep you guessing. They won't blur lines to keep you holding on. They'll tell you where they stand because they respect your peace more than they enjoy your confusion. That's what maturity looks like in connection. Honesty, even when it's uncomfortable, because love without truth isn't love, it's manipulation. You deserve relationships where you don't have to question intentions, where words are backed by action, where truth doesn't scare you, it strengthens you. Clarity isn't just about knowing where you stand with someone. It's about standing firmly with yourself, even when that truth requires you to walk away. Earth's clarity is the hallmark of truth. I sef emotional turmoil signals imbalance, not love. But so many people have been taught the opposite. We're told that love is supposed to be this overwhelming, all-consuming force, something that shakes your world and leaves you breathless. Movies, songs, even social media convince us that if it doesn't hurt a little, it must not be real. But the truth is, when love constantly feels like chaos, when it keeps you anxious, uncertain, or drained, it's not love, it's imbalance. When you're truly connected to someone, there's a sense of stability underneath it all. Even when things are difficult, there's still safety. You can disagree without feeling like that the relationship is about to fall apart. You can be vulnerable without feeling like you're giving someone ammunition to use against you. Love shouldn't feel like walking a tightrope, constantly trying to balance between being too much and not enough. That kind of emotional instability isn't passion. It's fear in disguise. Think about how your body reacts when you're with someone who creates emotional chaos. Your mind is constantly racing. Your heart feels heavy, and your self-worth starts to depend on their mood. You're either floating when they give you attention or collapsing when they pull away. That's not connection. That's survival. And no one can build a healthy relationship while living in survival mode. Love isn't supposed to drain your peace. It's supposed to add to it. Emotional turmoil happens when there's inconsistency, when what someone says doesn't align with what they do. You start to lose trust, not because you're insecure, but because their behavior gives you no solid ground to stand on. And the more unstable things become, the harder you work to keep it together. You tell yourself, maybe if I'm more patient, more understanding, more forgiving, it'll finally feel right. But love that constantly demands you to sacrifice your peace isn't love. It's imbalance pretending to be effort. Real love brings calm to your nervous system. You don't have to chase, convince, or prove. You don't have to analyze every moment for signs of affection or rejection. You simply know. The right connection allows you to breathe. It gives you space to be human, to feel, to express, to exist without the fear of losing everything over one misstep. It doesn't require you to shrink yourself or silence your needs just to keep the peace. Sometimes emotional turmoil becomes familiar because it's what we've known the longest. But familiar doesn't mean healthy. What's truly healthy might feel strange at first, quiet, steady, peaceful. That's because peace is something you grow into when you stop accepting chaos as normal. Love should never feel like constant confusion, pain, or exhaustion. It should feel like a soft place to land after the world has been hard on you. And if it doesn't, If it leaves you more unsettled than secure, it's not love, it's imbalance. Emotional turmoil signals imbalance, not love. Genuine relationships promote growth, not dependency. The kind of connection that changes your life isn't one that makes you smaller just to keep someone else comfortable. It's one that challenges you to rise, to evolve, to become the best version of yourself. Not because you have to, but because being around that person naturally pulls the best out of you. There's a difference between needing someone out of fear and choosing someone out of strength. Love-rooted in dependency says, I can't be okay without you. Love-rooted in growth says, I'm even better because you're in my life. When you depend on someone to fill your emptiness, the relationship becomes fragile. Every disagreement feels like a threat. Every bit of distance feels like abandonment. You start losing your identity just to keep their attention. That's not love. That's attachment. It's the kind of bond that's built on fear, fear of losing them, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. But genuine connection doesn't feed your fear, it feeds your strength. It inspires independence, confidence, and self-awareness. You don't lose yourself in love. You find more of yourself through it. Healthy love doesn't make you rely on someone to regulate your emotions. It teaches you how to hold space for your own. You don't expect another person to fix your insecurities. You work through them, and they stand beside you as you do. That's what growth looks like. It's when both people are moving forward, not one person carrying the emotional weight of the other. True connection feels like partnership, not dependence. It's built on mutual respect, not control. And it's not that you don't ever need anyone. We all need connection. But there's a difference between needing someone because they add value to your life and clinging to them because you don't believe you can survive without them. When you love from a place of wholeness, you love more deeply, more honestly. You're not afraid of losing the person because you know you'll still be complete even if they leave. That freedom allows love to breathe. It takes away the pressure that often destroys it. The most beautiful relationships are those where both people are growing individually and together. You're not trying to complete each other. You're complementing each other. You're building something that makes both of you stronger. You push each other kindly, you hold each other accountable, and you remind each other of who you are when life tries to make you forget. That's what love should do. It should expand you, not confine you. So when you find yourself in something that makes you feel smaller, more dependent, or more afraid, ask yourself, is this growth or survival? Because real connection doesn't clip your wings. It helps you learn how to fly. Ava's genuine relationships promote growth, not dependency. Love should stabilize your soul, not shatter it. When you meet someone who truly connects with you, there's a sense of grounding that comes with it. A calmness that doesn't take away the spark, but makes it feel safe. You don't lose yourself in the storm of emotions. You find balance in the middle of it. But so often, people confuse love with the kind of emotional turbulence that keeps them questioning their worth. They think that if it's dramatic, unpredictable, or painful, it must mean it's deep. But love that constantly shakes you, breaks you, and leaves you anxious isn't love. It's instability dressed up as passion. When love stabilizes your soul, it gives you space to breathe. You don't have to keep guessing what someone feels or where you stand. You don't live in fear of being left behind every time there's a disagreement. You know that even when things are hard, the foundation beneath you is solid. That kind of love doesn't silence your emotions. It helps you process them. It doesn't punish vulnerability. It honors it. And it doesn't demand that you give more than you have. It meets you where you are. A relationship that constantly leaves you feeling like you're not enough will slowly dismantle your sense of self. You'll find yourself trying to earn love rather than receiving it. You'll keep giving, hoping that one day it'll feel right, that one day they'll finally see your worth. But love isn't supposed to be something you fight to prove. It's something that finds balance when two people meet in truth. If it's constantly breaking you down, it's not love. It's dependency, chaos, and confusion wearing the mask of romance. The love that steadies you feels very different. It doesn't make you feel on edge. It doesn't pull you into emotional highs and lows that leave you exhausted. Instead, it gives you a sense of certainty. You feel more like yourself, not less. You speak your truth without fear. You're not performing to be loved. You're simply being. And that's enough. That's what stability feels like. It's not that everything's perfect. It's that everything's honest. People who bring stability into your life don't need to make grand promises. Their actions do it for them. Their presence itself becomes reassurance. And when that kind of love exists, it doesn't make your world smaller, it makes it clearer. You stop running after validation and start standing in peace. Because love, real love, isn't about the chaos it creates. It's about the calm it allows you to feel. If the connection you're in leaves you anxious, drained, or doubting yourself, that's not stability. That's struggle. The right love doesn't shatter you to prove it's real. It steadies you to remind you that it is. Love should stabilize your soul, not shatter it. Peace is the proof of real connection. You can measure the authenticity of a bond by how your heart feels when you're in it. Not by how often they text you, not by how intensely they make you feel, but by the peace that settles in your body when you're around them. Because when something is real, it doesn't disturb your peace, it deepens it. You don't feel like you're fighting to be understood or holding your breath, waiting for the next wave of uncertainty. You just know. You feel safe not because everything is perfect, but because you trust the energy between you. Peace in connection isn't about silence or a lack of passion. It's about harmony. It's the quiet knowing that you're valued, that you don't have to perform for love, and that you're allowed to simply be. So many people mistake intensity for meaning. They think the heart racing, the emotional highs and lows are what make love real. But real love doesn't create chaos, it creates calm. The most beautiful moments often come from stillness, the kind where you can just sit next to someone and feel completely understood without needing to say a word. That's peace. When a connection is real, you don't question your place in it. You're not constantly looking for reassurance or overanalyzing every message, every tone, every pause. You don't have to convince yourself that you're loved. You can feel it. Peace is when love feels effortless, not because there's no effort, but because the effort is mutual. Both people are choosing each other every day in small, steady ways that make everything feel natural. When there's no peace, it shows. You start to shrink. You stop expressing yourself fully because you fear conflict or rejection. You start walking on emotional eggshells, constantly editing your words, constantly doubting what's real. That's not connection. That's self-preservation. And love that forces you to constantly protect yourself isn't love at all. Peace allows you to exhale. It tells you, you're safe here. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. Peace doesn't mean you never disagree. It doesn't mean there aren't challenges. It means that even when life gets heavy, You know how to face it together without tearing each other apart. It's when you can have hard conversations with softness, when you can express truth without fear, when the relationship itself becomes a safe ground for both of you to grow. The most powerful kind of connection isn't the one that takes your breath away. It's the one that helps you breathe again. It's not built on confusion, control, or chaos. It's built on understanding, calm, and trust. When you find peace with someone, you've found something worth holding on to. Because peace isn't the absence of love's intensity. It's the evidence of its truth. Peace is the proof of real connection,